All right. So, such is my life. I can't even make popcorn. I can make all kinds of fancy things and ointments and stuff, but I can't even make popcorn. I always get a premature egification. Kernels everywhere. Seeds spilled all over my oven. Oh well. There's some in there that's bound to be good, right? Hi there. So, I've been going back to church recently, and I'm not going today. I mean, I don't need to go every day. And, just kind of got a slow start this morning. But whatever. Shit happens, right? Besides that, like I said, you don't need to go every day. God's everywhere. Yesterday, went to go pick up some dry cleaning. Now, I don't know what the issue is with dry cleaning in this town. The first time I went to dry cleaners, I was taking garments that I made to the dry cleaners, and these cleaners, it would take forever, would never give me a pickup date, right? Like, I'd have to go in and check. Oh, come back and check in a week. All right, I'll come back and check in a week. What the hell kind of business is that? Anyway, but last time that I went there, I could smell somebody else's BO on my garments. Like, I know what my BO smells like. And they were supposed to be cleaning it anyway, so why didn't they clean it? I think they cleaned it, let somebody wear it. And then I came back to pick it up, and they'd had it for a couple weeks, and they couldn't, keep it any longer, so they gave it back to me before they were able to clean it. And then I knew for sure somebody else would wear my clothes. Which, I have no problem, lending clothes. No, actually, I've learned better. When I was younger, I had no problem lending clothes, but I've learned better now. I don't lend clothes. So, anyway, I quit going there. Then I went to another cleaner's, and they kept on ruining stuff, Cleaners are supposed to take buttons off of things. When you got big old fancy buttons on garments, they're supposed to take those off and put them back on. A lot of places will just wrap them in foil, but, they're supposed to take them off. And I had a whole bunch of garments that I had made, and they ruined the buttons, and they puckered my fabrics. I had a dress that had an organza underlay underneath it, right? So it was lace over organza, so it had this shimmer coming through. And when I got it back, the organza was all puckered because it looked like they overheated it or something and melted some of the fibers. And it's just like, come on, guys. I know that there's most places will say, oh, if it doesn't have a tag in it telling us what the fabric is, we can't guarantee it. But, okay, I get that. Sometimes it's very hard to tell the difference between rayon and silk. Sometimes it's very hard. And, you can have damage that way, but you know what organza is. Come on. A lot of Latino cleaners in there. I've seen quinceañeras. You guys know what organza is. Because that cleaner had been really good, and they were a reputable franchise place, right? So anyway, if you know me, I've had some drama with this garment that I made for this performance that I did, this sculpture. It's not just a dress; it's a sculpture that I made, and it's a sculpture that is a next generation of a sculpture that was an installation that I had done called California Prose. And so when I turned the sculpture into the garment, then I called it California Prose in Motion, because in order to experience the piece, it has to be worn and moved in. really having trouble finding a place to get this thing clean. And I'd gone to one place, and they were upfront. They said, you know, we can't do that. That's a very difficult piece. And I went to another place, and they go, oh, leave it, and I'll give you a quote. Didn't hear anything back. And then they tried to tell me that they had sent it out, and it wasn't there. Well, I got the dress back. We went back and forth. I'm like, you're not knocking off my dress. So I took this dress, this garment, this sculpture, to a cleaner that's been doing a decent job. You know, they did a nice repair for me on a pair of pants. I mean, you know. Anyway. So now I gotta figure out where I'm gonna go. I need to go talk to somebody who does garment restoration, like at a museum or something, and find out who they pay to do their restorations. Because, you know, you go in into museums and they have these antique garments and things. It's like they're getting them clean somewhere, and those fabrics are every bit as delicate as my sculpture is. And so somebody's got to be able to clean it. I'll tell you. I suspect that this is just some story that they've been talking, and all these cleaners been talking around, and that they're just messing with me. Because who the hell knows why? Women are dumb. Women do stupid things. They do stupid, petty things. Anyway, so yesterday I went out and I was at the I went to drugstore so I could have on hand. I wanted to pick up a Plan B. Now, I've used Plan B before a couple times, and it's not, I mean, it's over the counter and everything, but it's still a serious drug. When you're messing with hormones, that's a serious thing. So, you know, when I've used it, it's like they don't really tell you that there's those hormones can mess with you, you know, but it does work or whatever. But I wanted to have one on hand just in case, because you never know. And in those moments when you need it, it's hard to go. And now in the drugstores they keep them behind locked keys, so they call it over the counter, but it's not really over the counter because you got to have somebody come and unlock it for you. So, you know, I understand that they're trying to keep people from stealing things, but you know, they also got pregnancy tests back there and everything. I mean, if it's going to be over the counter, let it be over the counter so that people can get it. So there's not this whole, you know, you got to stand there and wait, got to press the button. Somebody come help me. Somebody come open this thing. And, you know, meanwhile, everybody's walking by and they know your business. It's like, oh my God. It's just like that. This is just another tactical layer that men are using, and some women, to try to shame people, right? Anyway, the guy when I was checking out, he said to me, he's like, oh, well, you know, the generic, 'cause I don't buy the generic. I've always used the name brand. One time I used the generic and it was like, whoa, I really felt nutty after taking it. So anyway, I think I've taken it a total of, in the past 5 years, I think I've taken it 3 times. 3 times, maybe 4 times. Birth control is a challenging thing for me. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But so he said, you know, the generic's $10 less. So I bought the generic, and that's what I have now in my cupboard. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope I don't need it. I hope I don't need to use it. You know, because anytime, I don't like. My body does not tolerate a whole lot of chemical stuff, or I should say synthetic chemical stuff. The reason that this is an issue for me, you know, when I was 11 years old was when I was first put on birth control pills, and the reason I was put on birth control pills wasn't because of promiscuity or because I was sleeping around. It was because I get ovarian cysts, and they're extremely painful when they happen. And I had a cyst that they did an ultrasound on it because I just had so much pain, and it was actually like this big, and it was on my right ovary. Now, taking the hormones helps prevent that from happening. Endometriosis and cystic fibrosis and fibrocystic breast disease runs in my family, and so that's something that I watch for. And I'd been on birth control pills from the time I was 11 till I was maybe 23. Was when I first went off of birth control pills, and at that time I was taking Yaz, and I was starting to have. Omar and I at that time were considering maybe starting to think about having children, and I didn't, and plus I'd been on the hormone for a really long time, and they say that when you're on the hormone for a long time that you run a higher risk for breast disease, or for breast cancer and things, and there's breast cancer in my family as well, and I've since had the BRCA testing, and I do not have the genetic predisposition for cancer, so there's no genetic predisposition for me. If I have cancer, it is if I ever develop cancer, it will be purely environmental and not genetic. So that's, I don't know, is that a comfort? I don't know, but at least kind of thing. But I still, that's something that's environmental, putting that hormone into your body all the time. And so I went off of the birth control pills, and we were trying out other types of contraception. Now, I'm allergic to latex. I've talked about this before. This is also a genetic thing. My grandmother is also allergic to latex, and so condoms are a problem for me. Any kind of condom that has latex in it, male or female condom, or any kinds of products. I also have strong allergic reaction to the carrying gels and spermicides. So like anytime we try using the spermicidal foams or any of that kind of stuff, well, I'll spare you too much. Let's just say it was very unpleasant. It was very, very, very unpleasant. So those things were out. I tried, I couldn't use a sponge because sponges have latex in them. So I considered getting fitted for a cervical cap. My issue with a cervical cap, though, you have to take it off when you have your period. Now, every vagina is special and different and unique, and it's good to know your own vagina. So I had to get to know my vagina. And my vagina is long, thin, and bent at the end. It's very hard. I could not get in far enough to get to be able to place and or remove the cervical cap when I needed to. So that was out. I didn't feel like doing any gymnastics, and I wasn't going to leave that up to my husband to be poking around up in there. I was just going to spare him that. I thought that would take away some of the mystery and enjoyment, right? So cervical cap was out, and so I decided, okay, well, let's try this IUD. Now, I had been nervous about trying an IUD because I react to things. I react to metals. I have a sensitive system, and IUDs have. I'm also sensitive to hormones. So, like, IUDs have a small amount of hormone in them to help your body accept it, because you're placing a foreign object inside your body. Now, for a lot of people, for a lot of women, the IUD is a really, really great choice. An IUD stands for inner uterine device, and it's that little thing that looks like a T, and it has a little string on the end, and the way you remove it eventually, because you wear it for like 7 to 10 years depending on the model, and then they have to pull it out. It gets implanted in an outpatient procedure with your gynecologist into the uterus. And they snip the string, so you don't have a string hanging out or anything, but that when you get up in there, you can pull it out when you need to. So I have a small uterus. Know thy own vagina, know thy own bits. I have a small uterus. It's also tipped. So it was, you know, it was challenging, and I was a little nervous. Some of the IUDs are larger than others. And we had settled, my doctor and I had settled on trying the Marina, and I think they've since recalled the Marina for some reason, and people were having issues. I had an issue with it, I'll tell you that. So the day I had the IUD placed, I was told, okay, you know, you've just had something put up in there. It's normal to have some discomfort. Well, it was uncomfortable. It was like 3-4 days later, it was still really, really uncomfortable. And it was getting to the point where I could feel it if I would bend over or when I would move. It's like I could feel the IUD inside of me poking. And one of the concerns with the IUD is that you can get a perforated uterus, meaning the IUD will poke through the skin, right? So, you know, the discomfort, I was starting to get concerned that this wasn't chilling out, that it was still uncomfortable. And then I started passing chunks of skin. So it was like, I guess maybe the IUD was scraping my inner uterine lining, and I was passing these chunks of skin. And when that started to happen, I knew that thing needed to get out of me. So I ended up going to the emergency room, and they removed it. And when they got in there, the doctor that removed it for me told me that, you know, my cervix was all irritated, and that the doctor who had put it in had clipped the strings too short, and that they had to numb my cervix with anesthetic to dilate me to get this out, and I had to dig around in there. It was very painful. And then when I left the hospital, they gave me, was it Vicodin or Percocet, or was it Percocet or Darvocet? It was Darvocet. That's what it was. They gave me Darvocet, and this is a codeine derivative painkiller, which no more. I cannot take codeine derivatives. And I had taken codeine derivatives before and had weird side effects, but it's like when you have an allergy to something, that every time you're exposed to it, the reaction becomes worse. So the time before this that I had taken a codeine derivative with Vicodin, I had all kinds of hallucinations that were quite disturbing. This time when I had it, I got a rash all over my body. I was covered in a rash. I itched. The inside of my mouth itched. The inside of my ears itched. Everything. It was terrible. And that's a severe allergic reaction. It lasted for, I'd say, about 12 hours. So that's a long time to be itchy like that. And, you know, while I was grateful to have the IUD out, the painkiller, you know, I wish I had told them, no, thank you. I don't want the Darvocet. I could have just gone home and used a cannabis strain, you know, something CBD dominant, because that is a fantastic, cannabis is a fantastic painkiller. Especially for that kind of thing, you know, after procedures. So IUD was out for me. No IUD for Larissa, no IUD. So I gotta find something that is latex free and petroleum carrier gel free and hormone free. So, oh my goodness, what do? Well, I've tried some herbal things. And I have no idea about the actual efficacy of these herbal things. I can tell you that I did not get pregnant while using them. One of the things is pennyroyal, and pennyroyal it's a flower. It's an herb, and you drink it as a tea, and it's a little difficult to get your hands on sometimes, because if you take too much, it can cause toxicity in the system. And, you know, what does that mean? It means you have side effects. It means that, you know, you might get sick, you might have diarrhea, you might get a rash, you might, you know, who knows? But the pennyroyal does work as a birth control agent, and what it does is similar. It's similar to what the Plan B does, except that you can use it beforehand as well. It makes an inhospitable environment within your uterus for implantation. So it maintains the pH it helps your body maintain a pH that is non-conducive to fertilization. And it's hard to find, and I was concerned about overdosing on that. Not meaning that it was going to kill me or something a lot. Who knows, you know. But that it would make me sick in some way. Because I have a sensitive system, and it's hard sometimes to know. So the Penny Royale, like I said, it's difficult to get your hands on, and I was concerned about proper dosage. The other thing that I've tried that's herbal is carrot seed oil. Now somebody told me one time, she's like, oh, you put the carrot seed oil, you just put a few drops into your belly button. Now, who knows? This is evidently an Ayurvedic technique. I neither stand with it or against it. I didn't feel that putting an oil in my belly button, it just didn't ring true to me that was going to be helpful, and so I put it into non-gelatin capsules, and I was ingesting it, and I will say that it did seem to work. I did not get pregnant while ingesting the carrot seed oil, and whether that is a result of the carrot seed oil itself or just circumstances, I don't know, because I have no way of testing hormone levels and things. Now, I quit taking the carrot seed oil because it was giving my skin kind of an orangey, bronzy. It was changing my skin. It was changing my skin tone, and so I was concerned, because that's when you have color change in your skin tone, that's often indicative of issues with the liver. So I wasn't comfortable with that. Carrot seed oil, you can get it. It's an essential oil that you can get at most health food stores, and it's most commonly found in organic cosmetics. It's something that's used as a skin conditioner. And I will say my skin was very clear while I was taking the carrot seed oil, but it was also turning a little bit orange, and I didn't feel like looking like a carrot. Maybe Donald Trump has been taking carrot seed oil. Maybe he doesn't want to get pregnant. Does he have a uterus? Based on his comments and his ideas, he certainly seems to have uterus envy. But I digress. So those were the two things. The other thing that I have and do use is yoga, and it's not every yoga pose. Oh, don't get scared here. I mean, you can do yoga for pregnancy, but there are particular asanas that work in different ways. And so the plow pose, which is the one where you're on your back and your legs are up and over the back of your head, it tips the uterus back, and this is a technique for it is also something that prevents or creates an environment that's inhospitable for implantation of an egg into the uterine lining, and so you can use that. The other herbal thing that I have used is raspberry leaf tea. Now, raspberry leaf tea can also be used while you're pregnant. Now, the thing that's interesting about raspberry leaf tea is that what it actually is a uterine toner. What does that mean? That means that it soothes and nourishes the muscles of the uterus. And so if you have a viable pregnancy, if you have a viable implantation, it's not going to abort it. It will strengthen the uterus and condition the uterus for pregnancy. But if it is a non-viable implantation, it will express that. So it's kind of, I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, it's good either way. And so, you know, that's why raspberry leaf tea is also indicated for use during PMS or during menstruation, because it can help the body support itself. So those are herbal things. So what am I settling on now? What are we settling on now for birth control? Well, best birth control is abstinence. But in a marriage, in a relationship, abstinence is not always the best policy, and people need to have affection. So I have to find other things for times when abstinence is not a possibility. One of the things that I have used quite a bit, and it seems to be very effective, is this product. It's called VCF, Vaginal Contraceptive Film. Now, this does not prevent STDs. This is a product that only prevents pregnancy. It says it's effective for up to 3 hours, and what it is, it's a film. It looks like kind of a big Listerine tab, you know, those Listerine tabs, except it's not green. It's kind of clear, and you fold it up into quarters, which I don't understand why they don't just make it that size, but whatever. You fold it up into quarters, and then you insert it into your vagina, and it works kind of like a cervical cap. So once the film is in place, your body's moisture starts to dissolve it, and it creates like a jelly film. And so whatever liquid carrier is your own liquid. It's your own liquid carrier. So I'm not allergic to myself. And then it has a contraceptive spermicide. Has a spermicide in it that kills the sperm. So this is a good product. I haven't had any kind of allergic reaction or response to this. But like I said, this will not prevent STDs. This will only prevent pregnancy. So you can use this with something else, you know, if you are in a position where you need to be concerned about both. So the other thing that Omar and I use are non-latex condoms. Now, there's two different main kinds of non-latex condoms on the market. You can either get lambskin, which is the original condom, you know. Nomads in the desert came up with that. You know, it's basically it's sheep intestine is what it is. They're made out of sheep intestine. Now, since those are actually made out of skin, they are porous, and lambskin condoms will prevent pregnancy, but they will not prevent the spread of some STDs, specifically HIV. So lambskin condoms will not protect you from HIV. So if you're allergic to latex, the lambskin condom will not protect you from STDs. The other kind of non-latex condom that's on the market is a polyurethane condom. And here I have two brands, Trojan Supra and Lifestyle Skins. Now, these condoms are generally a little bit thicker than latex condoms, but it's not, in my experience, you know, the only way I can tell the difference between these two is that when Omar uses these, I don't get a rash in my hoo-ha. So, these work. You do need to use a lubricant with them, usually, unless you're all wet. but I found that these, even over other kinds, you know, of condoms, you still need to usually use a lubricant, a water-based lubricant. So it says on here, lubricated 1 premium non-latex condom. I got 2 of them. They come in packages. They're really hard to find. Now, we usually order them online, And I've asked my grocery store to start carrying them, but they don't. We'll see. We'll see, because I don't like having to order my condoms online. I don't be able to go to the store the way anybody else. Every now and then, Walgreens will have them. Some Walgreens. I've seen them in some Walgreens, but I haven't seen non-latex condoms. I haven't seen polyurethane condoms in any store here in Oakland. Now, I haven't been into all the sex shops, but, you know. Anyway, non-latex condoms. So what we use. That's what we use. Also, so yesterday I bought the VCF, and I bought a Plan B, or it's called Take Action. It's the generic brand. Also, I went and at the drugstore, and I got a product to do my own nails. So I've been having trouble going to get my nails done places. I got that infection or whatever it was that they gave me, whatever it was, and my nails all rotted off and everything was all gross and stuff. So I like wearing pointy nails, and I don't have super strong nails. I never have. They've always, you know, I have my Grandma Rose's hands. I have her fingernails, and anyway, I like the way my hands look when I have nails, and I also like having them for I use them as tools in my artwork and stuff. It's you know, it's helpful. It's helpful. So this brand, this product is called, by a company called Kiss, and you apply the tip with gel, and then you cut and file the tip to the shape that you want, and then you paint the gel on the top, and then you dip it in the powder, and the powder fills into the gel, and then you use a little spray on it, which it's called the activator. Activates it, hardens it, and then once they're all hard, then you just buff them. You just buff them smooth, and this worked pretty well. Now, I have to practice and get better at it. Initially I did them and I painted them, and they looked okay, but they still had some bumpies, and so this morning I filed them a little bit more and repainted them. And I found this Sally Henson now has this instant dry nail polish. Oh my gosh! So I've been using this brand called Vinylux, and it's pretty expensive. And it doesn't dry instantly, but it dries pretty quickly, and it doesn't actually dry. It cures. So it cures by UV light, and there's UV light that's present in the natural environment from the sun. So it's like, you know, it dries real fast. Well, I don't know what's in the Sally Henson's Instant Dry, but it does. Like, I painted that on, and it's, by the time you're done painting your hand, you know, you get down to your last finger, the others are all dry. So this was great. I did my fingers and my toes, lickety split. Bloop, 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 bloop. Now this gold color, had some trouble removing it with my nail polish remover. It was a little more challenging, but I think it's probably because this is a metallic, and a lot of times metallics are more difficult to remove. I have no idea about like environmental impact of the chemicals that are in these products, and it's probably like not the best thing in the world. And hopefully I don't go to hell for that. I don't know. I'm worried about the ocean. I'm worried about the ocean. I like having nice looking hands though. And I don't eat seafood, so maybe the fishes will forgive me. I mean, anytime I do eat seafood, I always regret it, but even, you know, I love it, but anyway. So I did that, and then I got these things. I got crooked toes. I was born with crooked toes on my left foot. My pappy's toes were crooked in the same place. So my big toe, I have a big bunion on my left foot, and I was born with that bunion. Like, I've seen the little footprints. You know how they do footprints? I've seen my footprints from when I was born, and they're crooked, and my toe was always crooked like that. My pappy's toe was crooked like that, so I got crooked toe. You call me crooked toe. I got crooked toe. I got a bunion on the left foot, and the big toe pushes into and under the first toe, and then that toe is also on top of the third toe, and I have a lot of pain in that foot, and my legs are slightly different lengths. One's a little bit longer than the other, and I have a back injury and just these little things. And it's so hard, you know, is to get somebody to push on my toe or pull on my toe, make it feel better. Anyway, I found these goofy little things. They're like these little silicone jelly toe separators, and they come in packs of 2. And I saw them at the drugstore, so I'll try those out. So I stuck these between my toes last night. I had 2 of them, and I put on a sock so it'd stay in, and it felt really good. I woke up this morning, my toe was feeling really, really good. My foot was feeling really, really good. So I got these. I'll try these. I'll try these for a little while and see how they go. The other thing I got, this thing's called at Walgreens toe wraps. I don't know. I'll try these out. They look like little Velcro waist bandages for your toes. We'll see. We'll see. But that way, I don't know what it is. And I ask practitioners to pull on my toe. Somehow people think that means that, well, who knows what they think that means. But when I go to have body work done, I just want some body work done. It's because I'm uncomfortable. You know, I live with chronic pain. I've been through some pretty serious physical trauma, not just being hit head on at 65 miles an hour is no joke. No joke. And I've had that happen twice. And it's like, you know, your body has that memory, and sometimes I'm in a lot of pain, and you add these other little things. And you know, I have other things too. My legs, I was born with my legs were externally rotated and they had to be turned back in. I got trouble keeping my hip in place. So, you know, anyway, I don't know. I gotta do my own fixing. Gotta do my own fixing. That's all right. Do what you gotta do, right? Do what you gotta do. Anyway, I'm gonna go out and about a little bit here and do my thing. I'm hoping to get some painting done today as well. We'll see. Painting, I got some laundry stuff down there to take care of too. We'll see. I don't know, everybody's talking about the Olympics. Everybody's talking about the Olympics, so should I jump on a bandwagon, talk about the Olympics? I'm watching some things, you know. I love sports. I really do. I love watching sports where there's somebody I know playing on a team. I like playing sports, you know. I always have. But I'm not into the politics of sports. And it gets so... Sports can get so mean, and there's so much politics around the Olympics. And one thing I will say is, Michael Phelps, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. In Wheaties' face, right? Anyway. May everybody at the Olympics be safe. That's my prayer for the Olympics. Congratulations to all of the athletes. And may everyone be safe. Talk to you later.
Okay then, Amazing Saints in the key of B.
You read my mind! Oh, when the saints come marching in, oh, when the saints come marching in, how I wish to be in that number. Oh,
the saints come marching in. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. Amazing grace poured down on me. I once was lost, but now am found. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Amazing grace poured down on me.
'Twas grace that taught.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear. And grace my fears relieved. Amazing grace she poured down on me. How precious did that grace appear. How precious did that grace appear. The hour I first believed. Amazing grace poured down on me. When we've been there, 10,000 years, 10,000 years. When we've been there, 10,000 years. Bright shining as the sun. Amazing grace poured down on me. We've no less days, to sing God's praise, to sing God's praise. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace for everyone. Saints come marching in. When the saints come marching in, how I wish to be in their number. When the saints come marching in.
Beautiful.
One more thing about birth control. Masturbation. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Not a damn thing. There is nothing wrong with it. It's part of healthy human sexuality, and anybody who says any different is a misogynist pig.